Hi, I'm Becky Brune and welcome to my vlog. This is week 4 of my 2-month stay in France. Number 1, Nathan and Madison. When I left France last year, I made a commitment to come back this year in August and September. And then earlier this year, my nephew, Nathan, announced his engagement with his girlfriend. Very happy news. And the wedding fell right smack dab in the middle of my trip. I didn't really agonize about it. I had no intention of canceling my trip, and I had no intention of missing the wedding. So the answer was I went back for the wedding. So Eymet's resident taxi driver, Mark, picked me up on Wednesday at 6 p.m. and drove me to the Bordeaux airport for my flight home. Actually, it would have been great if that plane had been flying me straight home, but it was a short flight from Bordeaux to Gatwick, London's second airport. It was pretty late when I got to Gatwick, and it was basically closed. There were no trains, there were no buses. This is a picture I drew of me editing a video on my computer that was sitting on my suitcase in my lap. I had some coffee, and then at 5:40 a.m., the bus showed up to take me to Heathrow for my big flight. And then a miracle happened. I was showing my boarding pass at the gate, and it made an ominous bleeping sound. And then she told me that they had upgraded me to business class. Why? I didn't really ask a lot of questions about it. But what it meant was I could possibly get a few hours of sleep on the plane and, tea service. In Seattle, I rented a car at the airport and drove to my daughter's apartment to stay the night with her. Hi. Door to door from Eymet to my daughter's apartment was 28 hours. The next morning, my kids and I drove up to Bellingham. There was a welcome party that first night, and then the wedding was the next day. My whole Brune family was there, and I was so glad that I had made that effort. Sunday morning, I took the same path, only in reverse. And the major difference was my 9-hour layover between Heathrow and Gatwick was in the daylight hours, so I was able to go on a little excursion. Number 2, a little excursion. A YouTube creator that I follow from Northumberland, England, Kate from The Last Homely House, has got me thinking about trying quilting again. And according to her, and many others, Liberty London is the pinnacle of British quilting fabrics. So I took the underground from Heathrow to Regent Street to check it out. The building alone is worthy of a visit. It is so cool. The wood interior, I think, is built from old sailing ships. And this atrium was full of quilting squares. The fabric really was beautiful and pricey. One of these little packets of rolls was 55 pounds. I told the clerk who rang me up that Seattle has lost a lot of our fabric stores. And she said, oh yes, we heard about Joanne Fabrics. That was very sad. So is there some kind of like underground fabric network? I don't know, but I felt like I was carrying treasure on my way to Gatwick. Number 3, what I hate about Gatwick. Gatwick recommends that you arrive 3 hours early for an international flight. Typical stuff. But they do not announce your gate until less than an hour before your flight leaves. I think I heard they have 2 runways, but because of the way they're configured, they can only use one at a time, which, if true, that's sad and everything, but what it means is there are thousands of people milling around this Hotel California duty-free zombie mall. And if you find a place to sit, each hard as a rock seat is more painful than the last. I showed you the drawing I did of my middle of the night Gatwick experience on my way to Seattle. This is a drawing I did of my 2.5-hour wait at Gatwick for my flight back to France. And there is the departure board with no gate numbers. Number 4, recovery. I got back to Eymet at 9:30 p.m. on Monday. I sent a few texts to tell people I'd arrived, and I had a glass of rosé and I dropped into bed. I don't think I had ever adjusted to Seattle time. So when I woke up in the morning, it felt like morning, but I was profoundly exhausted. I walked out to get some milk for coffee and bread, but on my way back, I all of a sudden did not know where I was. I wasn't sure what street I was on, and I couldn't immediately identify the street I should turn on. Obviously, it all came back to me, but that alarmed me. So I spent that day catnapping and basically doing the bare minimum, unpacking, doing some laundry, and charging up my electronics. Number 5, Marmande. I'm now 3 days out from the trip to Seattle, and I am recovering slowly. Mark, the taxi driver, who is also a neighbor, invited me to come join him and some friends of his at our last night market, and I went and met some very nice people. I also went to my tutoring, and Isabel had made cake, and she had me taste it and see if I could identify the ingredients in French, and I got up enough energy to make some dinner. And this rebound is really in the nick of time, because today I am driving to Marmande, which is the closest train station to Eymet. It's about 30 minutes away, and I'm picking up our friend Ward. Ward is going to be with me for the next 9 days. So watch this space, because who knows what's going to happen. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time. Bye.